Hey class, so the article I chose to look at was also by Maureen Weiss, and it's from the 2007 C.H. McCloy research lecture, and it was titled Field of Dreams, Sport as a Context for Youth Development. So essentially it was looking at how sport creates such a unique context for kids to develop through their playing experiences, socially, psychologically, physically, and the impact that that has. And so the main purpose of the paper was really to address and feature youth sport as that unique social context with such great potential for helping develop kids in all of those domains. And so really the big take-home message was that the social context matters. The context in which kids are placed in is important for how they're developing. And so a big thing that it looked at, just to kind of help intro, was developmental sports psychology, which was actually a term that was coined by Weiss. She took it kind of from a developmental theoretical orientation out of psychology that dealt with looking at psychosocial and behavioral changes in within individuals and then how that compared to other individuals, and kind of put the sports twist on it and looked at how a developmental perspective or looking at changes throughout age range kind of helped influence and helped people understand better how kids were developing through sport. And so some main kind of themes or concepts that have been studied in this area include things like self-perceptions, which is essentially just how kids perceive their competence and their own abilities. Motivation, which is why they're involved in sport or why they stay involved in sport. Character development, which really the big thing with character development was that it's not merely being involved in sport that influences other areas of life and your character development, but it's the way that it's set up. So the curricular models are really important for that. Social relationships, which is how interactions with adults like coaches, parents, other peers, how that has an influence on behavior. And then observational learning, which is looking at just how different modeling processes affect kids' development and how at different stages certain things are better than others. And so really all of the research was based on these developmental theories, and then also just the experiences as coaches and teachers working with youth. And so one of the major things that we talked about was looking at this program called the First Tee, I believe is what it was called. Let me see. Um, yeah, the First Tee, which is a sports-based youth development program that they did a longitudinal study with. And so they wanted to look at how things acquired in one domain, which was sport, would transfer into other domains like school and the home. And so the big targeted outcomes for that were character, social competencies, emotional regulation, and behavioral skills. So they're looking at all those things over a number of years to see the way transfer occurred. And so within the first year, let's see, flip through here. Within the first years they looked at this, they developed interview questions with the kids and were able to track it and look at more of a qualitative and mixed methodologies analysis than just quantitative, which we had been so used to doing in previous research. And so looking at the first year, they saw that over 90% of the youth that were involved in this program showed life skill transfer that they learned in this golf program going into other areas with the school and home. And so they found that in year one. Year two, they determined retention skills that were learned. They found again that 90% of the interviews they conducted proved that there was retention. In year three, they saw youth still participating in this program and the effects that that was having. And then in year four, those that were still involved, they also saw greater enjoyment, higher perceived competence, and lots of other positive outcomes. So they concluded that it does work. The sport context works to help develop youth in this context. We see them developing in positive ways, and it's just a few of the things. I could go into a lot more detail, but it's already been 5 minutes. So I'm excited to keep talking about this.